Hi everyone, and welcome to the Taurus Weekly Tarot Bite reading for the week of July 24th through the 30th. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. Hi everyone, and welcome. My name is Lauren. I hope that you do get something meaningful out of this reading. Now, it's meant to be a pretty short reading, about 10 minutes or so. We're taking a quick look at the energy for the week ahead for the sign of Taurus, based on the two themes that came up in the general collective reading, which was posted on Monday. Now, those two themes that came up were flexible and the High Priestess. And this is really where we're being asked this week to stay flexible as things start to change in our outer reality based on the changes that are happening in our inner reality. And what are those changes? We're kind of moving from a cycle that we're closing out. We're moving into a new fresh cycle. It's really going to call up a new part of ourselves. And it's also asking us to call in a new part of the larger dream for ourselves. Now, that's going to probably start to, in little ways, change up your environment. And so we're being asked to really ground ourselves in the intuitive knowing of what that change is in our life, and that larger vision for ourself that is really kind of coming through, and using that as the anchor, as the root system, so that we can start to stay flexible as things in our life are starting to change based on what we want to call in this next cycle for ourselves. So there's a sense of really kind of just staying aware of the new, but not trying to force outcomes or results, just kind of going with the flow, going with where we're led. All right, Taurus, so we're going to jump in here and pull some cards to see what does being flexible mean for you this week? Okay, so we have a few too many cards. Sometimes I feel like I like to take 4 or less. That was about 6 or 7. In personal readings, I'll take those, but that's a little too much. Okay, so we have strength. Strength for being flexible. That's a good card to have right now because we did just enter Leo season. So there's a sense of tapping into that Leo energy with this card. The courage that it takes to kind of almost have that grace under fire feeling. When we think of strength doesn't just mean the outward display of aggression. It actually means being able to kind of tame the inner beast within so that we can wield it in a way that is courageous and strong, but not that's going to actually hurt other individuals. There's a sense here of really kind of getting into that place of quiet strength. And it may be that this is a week where you might have to just kind of take a few deep breaths. You might have to meditate a little bit more if you can build that into your schedule. But we'll see what else wants to come in here for you, Taurus. Let's see what else wants to come in. And then we have the Princess of Wands, which is interesting. So this is technically the Page of Wands in this deck. This is the energy of kind of the playful child. This is someone who wants to go out and have fun, work with their passions. There can be a sense of curiosity that comes with this. So maybe there is this kind of call. Maybe that's part of the call to the new, this kind of innocent, I want to just go out and play. I want to go out and do what feels good. And to have the strength to actually kind of hold to that. We can sometimes get into this place of really getting serious in our life. We have to go to work. We have to fulfill all of these responsibilities we have. And it's hard sometimes just to take a step back and say, I'm going to be silly. I'm going to be silly. And you know what? I'm going to do something that just feels fun this weekend or this week or whatever it is. It can be even just coming home from work, and instead of sitting there going, God, I'm so tired, I got to make dinner and the kids have to get to bed, and to say, I'm going to build a tent fort with my kids tonight. It's something like that. Or what, this weekend we weren't going to do anything, and instead let's pack up the bags and we're all going to go to the water park. Like, there's something that's kind of coming through like that, to stay true to that playful child inside. And for some of you, it might be an actual child in your life as well, that there's the strength of being strong for that playful child and really being there for them. Okay, so let's see what's coming in for the High Priestess. What is this internal knowing for you guys? Prince of Pentacles and Temperance. Now, the Prince of Pentacles is Virgo energy. It's technically the Knight of Pentacles. And there's this sense of having this kind of slow and steady, long-term vision for the future, for what you want to eventually harvest from the seeds you're planting, but also kind of going methodically step by step by step. And with Temperance coming in, there's a sense of kind of divine angelic timing. There's a sense also of learning how to moderate something in your life. Learning how to, I feel, moderate your emotions with your passions to actually create something new. And I think on a deep intuitive level, you know where maybe either A, you've been pushing aside your own emotions for the sake of just taking action. We can all get to that place in our life, no matter what sign we have as a major placement in our birth charts. We can get to just where we have to push and push and push and push, and we forget, like, does this feel good to me? Am I emotionally connected to what I'm doing? There's also the feeling of balancing your passions and how you choose to take action with your emotions. So it can't just be also where we are feeling and feeling and feeling everything and not actually taking action from that place. This can be like where we're feeling like we want to connect to others. We're feeling lonely. We're feeling like there's something missing in our life, and yet we're doing nothing about it. So this is really bringing those two things together, like you see here, and really making something new. And Temperance is the number 14 in the tarot, and there's a sense for me with the number 14 that there is freedom through change, that this is stating that there's something that needs to be brought into moderation. Again, that this can be where that the moderation is that stop just acting, stop just doing, take a step back, moderate how much you do, and bring in more of how you feel and emotionally connect to what you do. Or the reverse. It's time to start taking action where maybe you've just been sitting in quiet feeling and contemplation. But there is definitely a plan coming into place. There is a step-by-step that says it goes slow. You know, these are two cards of moderation. It says slow and steady wins the race. And I think for many of you, there's like this larger vision that's starting to unfold. But it's one that either involves children, or it's one that involves bringing in a life that is more freeing, that is free to that inner child, that's going to bring in more fun into your experience. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Hanged Man. So there's something about seeing... I get kind of this feeling of seeing your entire life experience from a different perspective. That's really what the Hanged Man speaks to, is having that chance to see maybe where you've been prioritizing something over something else in your life, and you're realizing, wow, I actually maybe need to prioritize that more. Or I do see where I've just been like, go, go, go. Or I do see where I've just been feel. And now I can see it's time to play a little bit. It's time to be strong for that childish part of myself. It's time to be strong as well for maybe the children in my life. That is coming strongly forward here for some of you. All right, so I'm going to pull some cards. And let's see here. I'm going to first pull for the Princess of Wands. We're going to see what's coming through here. We have the Knight of Cups, which is beautiful energy. The Knight of Cups is Piscean energy. It is really getting into that rose-colored glasses. Oh, I love it. Look at this. You have the Knight of Cups and you have the Five of Wands. There's almost this... kill them with kindness kind of energy. There's a feeling here of being asked. So the Five of Wands is combative energy. This is like, you know, imagine this poor knight here. You know, I always think of the Knight of Cups as like, for those of you who have seen that old Disney movie Enchanted, where, you know, the knight from, or the prince from the fantasy world comes into present day, into our world, and he's like so just over the top, like everything is wonderful and romantic, and it's almost like he just pops up, you know, out of the blue, and yet here's somebody who's ready to cut him down. And there's a sense here of really I get the feeling that this is the two parts of yourself. Don't cut down your inner romantic rose-colored glasses. I just want to share life with everybody. I want to have fun. I want to share my cup with you, whoever that other person is. It's time to kind of let down this guard. I think for many of you, you've been standing guard around either children in your life, or you've been standing guard over the inner child in your life that's desperately calling out to want to play. And this is saying it's time to greet life again with that kind of rose-colored glasses, with the innocence. Yeah, you may be called naive, but you know what? It's better to be naive than to be all alone, the kind of curmudgeon in their home, just shutting the door on everybody in the world. So really kind of keep that in mind. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and see what is going on with temperance. So what do you need to know more about what needs to be brought into moderation here? What does Taurus need to know about temperance? And again, this is coming through with the High Priestess. So you know deep, deep, deep within, you understand what needs to be brought into moderation if you are to really, I think, have this kind of slow and steady plan come to fruition for many of you. So there's a sense here of like, okay, I'm going to dig my heels in, which Taurus is very good at doing. I'm going to dig my heels into the slow and steady plan, but I also need to see how I can bring more of myself, that this can't just all be all work and no play. And yeah, we have the Seven of Cups for moderation. There's a sense here of getting to a place of, I'm almost feeling like fantasy land. Like, just getting to this place of like, start to believe in the dream again. Start to get out and look at the world from this perspective of, there are so many opportunities. The world is my oyster. It's time to start to see what's in each one of these cups. It's almost like that feeling of all of a sudden you open the door where you've had it closed this whole time, and you open the door and there's all these floating cups everywhere, and you're like, holy cow, well, what's in this one? And what's in this one? And it's like, whoa. And what those cups represent are opportunities for emotional connection, are opportunities for even you to share your cup, to say, does my cup match with this? Does my cup match with this? Can I get something out of that and pour into my cup? There's a sense of, sometimes this can be a card of illusion or delusion, but I also get the feeling for you specifically coming with temperance, this is about getting into the tempering a little bit more of that what if, the dreamy quality with the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Cups. There's a sense of like, what's out there? What have I not, what's out there that I can play with that I haven't been aware of because I've been so focused on something? This can actually, I think this can be a very prosperous time for you with this kind of slow and steady energy and the kind of the call towards, you see the bigger picture, where you're going, or what you want to eventually, what the harvest is that you want to plant for now. But you also understand that it can't just be, again, all work. You have to have something invested in that long-term vision for yourself. And the journey is everything. We can't just be focused on the goal and keep the door shut and stay, inside. We have to realize that the journey is where we get to play. The journey is the fun. It is getting to come home at the end of the day and playing with your children. That is the best part about having children. And when you have a child, it isn't the end goal of getting them to be 18 so they can get out of the house. The whole process is enjoying the moment as you go. Same thing with like, if the end goal is to buy that future home or save for that epic trip around the world, that it's not about just turning off life until you save and buy that house. It's saying, this is like those little points of challenge where you get to emotionally connect to it, of saying, yay, I got to this point. I have 20,000 in the bank, and like, okay, let's see how much more I can go, and challenging yourself every day to connect with it, or whatever it is that you're really focusing on. But remember, the journey is what counts. And if it doesn't feel like play, if you don't feel like you're emotionally connected to it, then that's how we lose giant chunks of our life. And I know because I experienced it. So cautionary tale here. I think for many of you, it's time to jump into that childlike sensibility, really bring that into your everyday experience, while also understanding that what you need to bring into moderation is your life is a little bit more whimsy, a little bit more what if, a little bit more of the rose-colored glasses, and a little less of the Five of Swords, which is the I'm going to cut you down and shut your mouth, and I don't want to hear it, and that can't happen, and that's not realistic. There's a little bit of like getting into the Disney dreaming quality here of, you know what, when our heart does have that dream, it is ready to be called in for us. So get into the dreaming sense this week, Taurus, and also get into the playful sense this week. And I think you'll realize this week what you find within yourself is what can now be integrated into every day in the next cycle forward. All right, I will leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, the August tarot scopes for each sign will be released starting at the end of this week and into the beginning of next week for anyone who would like to watch those. All right, I will see you all next week. Bye, Taurus.